moving on to Klein, Jeremy, and I want to get your thoughts on where he fits for the Twins in 2026, because I think we're probably fairly aligned there. 23-year-old right-handed pitcher out of Brooklyn Center, Minnesota. 6'5", 225 he's listed at. I'll just give his numbers overall in 2025. So he pitched exclusively at AA and AAA, 106.1 innings in a variety of roles, a 3.98 ERA, a 3.26 FIP. If we look at the strikeout numbers, super healthy, 27.6% strikeout rate, just an 8% walk rate for you, K per nine and ball on bases per nine, folks. That's 10.83 Ks per nine, 3.13 walks per nine. I mean, I think we touched on it, Jeremy, at the time. This is truly one of the more impressive breakout seasons from any Twins minor leaguer in 2025. What do you make of Klein's performance, and how do you think he's set up to contribute in 2026 with this ad?
So undrafted, currently 23. So I think the thing a lot of times is you would assume that he's just older and that it took him a long time to come through the system. Right. And that's not at all the case. I guess I kind of view him in the same realm as like Travis Adams, where I think he could very easily come up, make a spot start, and do fine if you have enough pitching depth where you just want to keep him in the rotation at St. Paul and have him be ready. I think given the context, the makeup of the 40-man roster, payroll restrictions, all of those things, I think it'd be really easy to take him and say, let's see what happens if we unleash you in a relief role. He did that. He pitched in his 31 appearances, 16 of them came in relief. Mm-hmm. He's obviously got the ability to stay a starter, but I just, for me, there's something that is intriguing enough if you're going to have other guys backed up and have enough starters where you can just say, let's do it and let's see what he becomes. And does he have the stuff to be a back half of the bullpen kind of guy?
So I'm glad you pivoted that way. I absolutely think that's the direction that we're headed in here personally. And I think the stuff plays a role, right? And there's no reason to rush this decision. And we always talk about how it makes sense to slow play and not commit a guy to a role before it's absolutely necessary. He has the type of frame you would want a starting pitcher to have to hold up to that kind of workload. And it's indicated in how many innings he was able to pitch in 2025. However, to your point about a potential back-end role, his velocity ticked up massively last year. He was throwing kind of 92, 94 range with his fastball 2 years ago. Last year, he was sitting 95 and touched 98 with his fastball. It's like a high spin four seamer, so it plays really well, like top rail of the strike zone. Really, really just like a heavy, heavy pitch. And so I feel like he's the kind of guy who you might end up being in a best case scenario is he's a high leverage reliever, in my opinion. And, we're in a reality now where the Twins really don't have much of a bullpen. That's absolutely one of the big questions entering 2026. And despite that, the initial ZiPS numbers on the Twins, I think, are going to show that they're not a million miles away from competing in the AL Central because it's the AL Central. So right. You need some guys like Klein to work out and have a couple of internal options to contribute in the bullpen. And I think he's a really good shot given the stuff, the size. If you have him let it eat for an inning at a time, you could be talking about him flirting with triple digits in 2026.
I think that's very likely, and just to add my 2 cents on this, I don't think they would have added him to the 40-man if they weren't intent on it, and he was one of these guys they had in the system that was pitching every 4 days, 4 innings, so, I mean, if he's not going to be a starter when he comes up, he's at least someone they wanna still keep as, can throw 2, 3 innings out of the bullpen, kinda eat up, get some of those outs that not everyone wants to get. I think that's very likely. Role for him to have, especially if he's going to start the season in St. Paul. I think that's safe to say. But he's definitely my dark horse candidate for how this roster is constructed right now to make the bullpen for opening day. There obviously could be guys they add in the offseason that when we get to spring training and we really want to dissect into that, different names could be leading candidates, but I think he is the leading candidate for that right now. And he'll definitely be one of the most intriguing names to watch this spring.
Let's go.
Could we see him in a Louis Varland type track?
Yes. I think they fast track him to the bullpen role compared to what they did with Varland. But yeah, I think he's
100%.
definitely the next Louis Varland, homegrown.
So Varland in 2022 started 5 games, threw 126 innings overall, 3 levels, but started 5 games for the Twins. In 2023, made 10 starts, came out of the bullpen 7 times, and then obviously started a little bit in 2024, 7 out of 16 starts, and then in 2025 it was 50, I believe, and my math might be off, 51 bullpen appearances in the regular season, and then 57 bullpen appearances in the World Series. I think is how that.
Yeah, I think that's about what it evened out to. Yeah.